I'm about to say something controversial. You don't need a single flashcard, expensive learning tablet, or educational subscription box to raise a smart toddler. I know what you're thinking, but the toy companies say I need those wooden alphabet blocks and that $100 STEM kit. And a few years ago, I would have agreed with you. But after working with dozens of families and watching my own kids grow, I've discovered that your toddler's brain develops more from folding laundry with you than from any screen-based learning program. In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to share 7 ordinary activities you're probably already doing that are secretly turning your toddler into a learning machine. Things so simple, you'll wonder why anyone's spending money on educational toys at all. This might make you feel relieved. It might make you realize you've been a better parent than you thought. And if you stick with me, I promise you'll walk away seeing your entire day differently and understanding how to maximize your child's brain development without spending a dime. Let's dive in. I'm here at Parenthood Unlocked, where we cut through the noise of expensive parenting products and get to what actually works. My background is spending years watching real families navigate toddlerhood, including my own chaotic household. But more importantly, I'm a parent just like you, trying to raise capable kids without breaking the bank or losing my mind. Today, we're tackling everyday learning because I'm seeing so many parents in our community feeling guilty that they can't afford all the educational toys and programs being marketed to them. And when I dig deeper, I keep finding the same issue. They're missing the incredible learning happening right under their noses during regular daily activities. By the end of this video, you'll understand why structured educational time often backfires, what child development research actually says about how toddlers learn best, the 7 everyday activities that build your toddler's brain, and how to turn mundane tasks into learning gold mines without Pinterest-level effort. Ready to stop feeling guilty and start feeling empowered? Let's go. Let's start by talking about what's not working. If you're like most parents today, you've been told that you need special educational toys, learning apps, and enrichment classes to give your toddler the best start. You see it everywhere, on Instagram, in parenting magazines, from influencers with perfectly curated playrooms. And it sounds convincing, right? These experts have credentials and studies and beautiful graphics showing how their product boosts IQ. So you try it. You buy the alphabet puzzle, download the learning app, sign up for the music class. You set aside special learning time. You feel like you're doing something important for your child's future. And at first, maybe your toddler seems interested, but then you start noticing something. They'd rather play with the box than the expensive toy inside. They fight you on learning time. They're more engaged watching you cook dinner than sitting through their educational video. And you're exhausted trying to make learning happen when it feels like pulling teeth. Here's what's actually happening. Toddler brains are wired to learn through real-life experiences, not isolated skill building. When you separate learning from living, you're working against their natural development. Your toddler doesn't want to learn colors from flashcards. They want to learn colors while sorting laundry with you, where colors have meaning and context and connection. The problem isn't that you're doing it wrong. The problem is that the educational toy industry has convinced us that learning requires special products when research shows the opposite is true. Let me give you some examples of what I'm seeing. A mom told me she felt like a failure because her 2-year-old wouldn't sit still for letter practice, but that same kid could focus for 30 minutes helping her make pancakes, learning measurement, sequencing, and following directions without realizing it. Another parent was spending hundreds on subscription boxes while her toddler's favorite activity was putting away groceries, which was teaching categorization, spatial reasoning, and vocabulary for free. See the pattern? We're overlooking the richest learning environments, our actual lives, in favor of products designed to make us feel like we're doing enough. Now let me share the 7 everyday activities that are actually building your toddler's brain, no products required. Activity 1. Cooking and meal prep together. Why people underestimate this? It feels like you're just trying to get dinner made, not like you're teaching. The reality, cooking is a multi-sensory STEM lab. Your toddler is learning measurement when they pour, sequences when they follow recipe steps, cause and effect when ingredients transform, vocabulary for textures and temperatures, and fine motor skills when they stir and sprinkle. Research on executive function shows that cooking builds planning, focus, and following multi-step directions better than most educational games. Why skipping this is harmful? When you always cook alone to save time, you're missing hundreds of micro-learning moments every week. The better approach? Let them help with age-appropriate tasks. 2-year-olds can tear lettuce, pour pre-measured ingredients, and stir. 3-year-olds can crack eggs with supervision, use cookie cutters, and set the table. You're not slowing yourself down, you're investing in skills that pay off for years. Quick example, your toddler helps make sandwiches. You're not just making lunch, you're teaching. First we spread, then we add filling, then we cut. That's sequencing. The bread is soft, the cucumber is crunchy. That's vocabulary and sensory processing. We made 2 sandwiches, one for you and one for me. That's counting and social awareness, all in 5 minutes. Activity 2, grocery shopping and putting groceries away. Why people underestimate this? It seems like a chore you're dragging them through. The reality, grocery stores are categorization and decision-making boot camps. Your toddler learns sorting when you find items in specific sections, colors and shapes when you pick produce, quantities and comparisons when you choose 3 apples, and vocabulary for foods they've never encountered. Then putting groceries away teaches where things belong, heavy versus light, cold items versus pantry items. This is executive function training disguised as helping. The better approach? Narrate what you're doing without making it like school. We need bananas. Can you help me find yellow ones? This milk is cold. It goes in the refrigerator. These cans are heavy. These bags are light. Give them small jobs. You're teaching without teaching. Quick example. At the store, you say, "We need tomatoes. They're red and round." Your toddler scans the produce and points. You say, "Yes, those are tomatoes. Can you put 3 in the bag?" They're learning colors, shapes, counting, and feeling capable. At home, they help put boxes on the pantry shelf. That's spatial reasoning, all while you're just getting groceries done. Activity 3, laundry, folding, and sorting. Why people underestimate this? It's boring adult work. The reality, laundry is a matching game, a sorting activity, and a patterns lesson, all in one. Matching socks teaches same and different. Sorting by person teaches categorization. Folding teaches spatial reasoning and sequences. Making piles teaches organizing and planning. This is the exact same cognitive work as those expensive sorting toys, except it's real and meaningful. The better approach? Make it a game without forced enthusiasm. Let's find all of Daddy's shirts. Can you match these socks? This pile is getting big. They're learning through participation, not performance. Quick example. You dump clean laundry on the bed. Your toddler finds 2 matching socks. You say, "They match. They're both blue." Your toddler beams. They've just practiced color recognition, matching, and pattern identification, and you got your laundry folded. Win-win. Activity 4, getting dressed and choosing outfits. Why people underestimate this? You're just trying to get out the door. The reality, getting dressed is decision-making practice, sequencing work, and independence building. Choosing between 2 outfits teaches preferences and decision-making. Putting clothes on in order, underwear first, then pants, then shirt, teaches sequencing. Buttoning and zipping build fine motor skills, and doing it themselves builds confidence and executive function. Research shows that children who dress themselves develop stronger problem-solving skills, independence, and problem-solving. The better approach? Offer 2 choices, not 20. Let them struggle a little with zippers before you help. Narrate the sequence. First your underwear, then your pants. You're teaching without pressure. Quick example, morning routine. You hold up 2 shirts, red or blue. Your toddler chooses blue. They try to put it on. The head hole is tricky. You wait, they figure it out. You say, "You did it." You're teaching decision-making, persistence, and problem-solving. And you didn't even buy a toy. Number 5. Cleanup time and organizing toys. Why people underestimate this? It feels like you're just nagging them to clean. The reality, cleanup teaches categorization, spatial reasoning, and responsibility. Blocks go in this bin, cars go in that basket. That's sorting. Fitting toys back in their spots is like a real-life puzzle, and the routine of cleaning up after playing teaches cause and effect and respect for belongings. This is life skills and cognitive skills combined. The better approach? Make it specific, not vague. Instead of clean up your toys, say, "Let's put all the animals in the basket. Can you find them all?" You're giving them a scavenger hunt, not a chore. Quick example. Playtime is over. You say, "Let's find all the red blocks and put them in the bin." Your toddler hunts for red blocks. They're practicing color recognition and sorting. Then you say, "Now the blue ones." They're learning categories, and your living room is getting cleaned. Everyone wins. Activity 6. Conversations during daily routines. Why people underestimate this? You're just talking. The reality, back and forth conversations are the #1 predictor of language development and later reading success. Not baby talk, not one-way narration. Actual conversations where you ask, they answer, you respond. This builds vocabulary faster than any app. Research shows that children who have frequent conversations, even about mundane topics, develop stronger language skills, better social awareness, and higher emotional intelligence. The better approach? Ask real questions during boring tasks. What do you think will happen when we water this plant? Which towel should we use? How does that feel? And then actually listen and respond. You're building their brain with every exchange. Quick example, bath time. You say, is the water too hot or just right? Your toddler says, just right. You say, good, let's add bubbles. What happens when we add bubbles? They say, they go everywhere. You say, yes, they float. That's a conversation that taught vocabulary, cause and effect, and made them feel heard. And you were just giving them a bath. Activity 7, running errands together. Why people underestimate this? It feels like you're just dragging them along. The reality, errands are real-world problem-solving adventures. At the post office, they see how mail works. At the bank, they observe transactions. At the pharmacy, they learn about waiting and patience. Every errand teaches new vocabulary, social norms, and how the world functions. This is cultural learning and executive function wrapped in normal life. The better approach? Narrate what's happening without making it a lesson. We're mailing this package to Grandma. The mail carrier will take it on a truck. Let them observe, ask questions, and be part of your world. Quick example. You're at the bank. Your toddler watches you fill out a form. They ask, what's that? You say, I'm writing our address so the bank knows where we live. They're learning that writing has purpose, that addresses matter, and that grown-up tasks make sense, all while you're just doing your banking. So if all those expensive toys aren't necessary, what does the research actually tell us? The gold standard in early childhood development research points to something called serve and return interactions. This means that learning happens best through back and forth exchanges between parent and child during real activities, not through passive screen time or isolated toy play. Here's what we know works. Real-life context beats isolated skills. Studies show that toddlers learn words faster when they're taught during meaningful activities, like learning ball while playing catch versus flashcards with the word ball. Why? Because context gives meaning. Meaning creates memory. Memory builds learning. When you teach colors during laundry, your child understands that colors have purpose. They help us sort. They help us find things. That's deeper than memorizing red. Engagement beats perfection. Research shows that toddlers learn more from imperfect participation than perfect observation. Let them crack the egg even if shell gets in. Let them pour the milk even if some spills. The mistakes are where learning happens. They're building motor control, cause and effect understanding, and resilience. Child-led exploration beats adult-directed instruction. Studies on play-based learning show that when toddlers direct their own exploration within safe boundaries, they develop stronger problem-solving skills, creativity, and intrinsic motivation than when adults constantly guide them. Your job isn't to orchestrate every learning moment. It's to provide opportunities and step back. Here's the key insight that ties all of this together. Your toddler's brain is wired to learn from the people they love doing the things that matter in your real life. You are the curriculum. Your daily life is the classroom. Connection is the teaching method. This is what the toy companies don't want you to know. This is the truth that gets buried under marketing about developmental milestones and falling behind. Your ordinary life is extraordinary for your toddler's brain. Okay, so now that we've covered the 7 activities, let's talk about how to actually make this work in your real life. I call this the learning through living approach. Turn chores into invitations. Instead of rushing through tasks alone, slow down slightly and invite them in. You're not adding activities to your day, you're just including them in what you're already doing. This shirt needs folding. Can you help? Becomes an invitation to learn. Narrate without pressure. You don't need to quiz them or turn everything into a lesson. Just talk about what you're doing. This onion smells strong. These socks are fuzzy. The car is going fast. You're building vocabulary naturally. Let them struggle appropriately. Don't jump in the second something is hard. Can they open that container themselves? Can they figure out which shoe goes on which foot? Struggling builds problem solving. Your job is to provide support, not solutions. Celebrate effort over results. Your toddler put their cup in the sink even though they missed and it fell on the floor. That's worth celebrating. They tried to zip their coat even though they needed help. That's progress. You're teaching them that trying matters more than perfection. These 4 approaches work together to transform your entire day into brain-building time without adding a single thing to your schedule or budget. It's not about being perfect, it's about being present and inclusive. Now, I know some of you are thinking, but don't I need some educational toys? Let me address that. I'm not saying toys are bad. I'm saying you don't need to feel guilty if you can't afford the expensive ones. A $5 ball teaches more than a $50 learning tablet if you play together. Blocks from the thrift store build the same spatial reasoning as designer wooden sets. Your presence and participation matter infinitely more than the price tag. But what if my child goes to preschool where other kids have had more structured learning? Here's the thing. Kids who've learned through real-life experiences often adapt better to school than kids who've only done isolated skill work. Why? Because they understand context. They can follow multi-step directions. They're used to participating in real tasks. They've built executive function skills that transfer to everything. Your child isn't behind. They're just differently prepared, and often better prepared. What if I actually like doing educational activities with my toddler? Then keep doing them. I'm not saying don't ever use flashcards or learning toys. I'm saying don't feel like you're failing if you don't, and mix them with real life. 15 minutes of alphabet practice plus 30 minutes cooking together is a beautiful balance. The goal isn't all or nothing. It's recognizing that your regular life is already enough. So here's how to actually implement this starting today. Step 1. Pick 2 activities from today's list that you're already doing. Maybe it's cooking dinner and getting dressed. Those are your starting points. You don't need to overhaul your life. Step 2, this week, consciously invite your toddler into those activities. Instead of dressing them, let them try. Instead of cooking alone, give them a spoon to stir. Notice what happens. Step 3, narrate what you're doing without making it feel like school. Just talk. This water is cold. These carrots are orange. You're building their brain through conversation. Step 4, let go of perfect. They'll make messes, things will take longer. That's okay. You're investing in skills that compound over time. What success looks like? Within 2 weeks, you'll notice your toddler asking to help more, paying attention longer during activities, using new words you didn't directly teach, and you'll feel less guilty about not doing formal learning time. The learning is happening. It's just woven into life. The parenting advice that goes viral isn't always the parenting advice that's true. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is the free thing, the ordinary thing, the thing you're already doing. If this resonated, subscribe to Parenthood Unlocked. Hit that like button and drop a comment telling me which everyday activity surprised you most. Remember, you don't need to buy anything to be an amazing parent. You just need to include your toddler in your real life. I'll see you next time. Until then, keep unlocking the best version of parenthood for your family.